New York is a great place to live, but I wouldn't want to visit there in August. When the temperature and the humidity start fighting it out for first place, I take to the hills. My cottage is on the wrong side of the lake. The neighbors here have one virtue. They leave you alone.
Hey!
Good heavens, I wasn't drowning.
You mean I didn't save your life?
Oh, well, I guess you're entitled to a merit badge.
Well, I wish I would have done more.
Well, are you going to pull me in or throw me back?
I may have you stuffed and mounted. Well.
Oh, I could use a cigarette.
Well, there's some right down there by your little footsie.
Thanks. My hands are wet.
Okay.
I was getting pretty tired.
Going any place in particular?
You're the strangest man. Most people would ask where I came from.
You mean you don't live in a grotto at the bottom of the lake?
As a matter of fact, I swam from the house across the lake.
You mean that big mansion over there that lights up like a ferry boat at night?
Oh, then you've noticed it.
You must have a terrific electric bill.
It belongs to Fraser, Cordey. I'm just a secretary, Irene Jackson. I suppose you have a name.
Yeah, my name's Mike Hammond.
How'd you like to come over and join the fun?
Why don't us poor kids make our fun right here, huh?
Oh, come on. Don't be so lazy, Mike. Work at it a little.
Well, now, what would the boss man say?
Uncle Fraser, he loves company.
Uncle Fraser? Uncle?
He really is my husband.
You mean you're really only a poor little rich girl after all?
Coming?
No, thanks. I got my pride.
I'm Cordey.
Mike Hammer's the name.
Well, glad to have you aboard. Do you know everybody here?
Well, no, nobody but your niece.
Now, don't tell me you're the one she was spotting through those binoculars.
Yeah.
Well, come on along. I want you to meet some people.
All right, fine.
This is my wife, Miriam. Darling, this is Mike Hammer, a friend of Irene.
How do you do, Mrs. Cordey?
Miriam, for heaven's sakes. What are you trying to do, give the place some class?
Mike's a neighbor of ours, dear.
Oh?
Yeah, from across the lake.
Well, don't be a snob about it.
Oh, I'll try not to be.
Come here a minute, will you? I want you to meet somebody. Shake hands with Mike Hammer.
Huh?
Chris McCullough.
Oh, you're Mike Hammer? How do you do?
You two should get along fine. Chris is a beachcomber from your side of the lake.
Oh, pay no attention to her, Hammer. She's a fugitive from a Pennsylvania coal mine.
That a fact?
That should make you feel more at home. Would you like to hear the story of my early struggles?
Later, Miriam. I left my psychoanalyst.
Come on, I want you to meet somebody else over here, Mike. Arnold? Mike, I want you to meet Arnold Sterling, my attorney. Mike Hammer.
We've met, unfortunately.
Been a long, long time, Counselor.
Which you should have spent in Sing Sing. And if there's any justice, that's where you'll go someday.
Oh, Arnold.
Fraser, this is your home, and you're entitled to invite anyone you like. But I think you should know that this man is nothing but a cheap crook.
I resent that. I got paid for sending your client to jail.
You railroaded him.
All I did was give the district attorney a little assistance, that's all.
All that evidence was faked.
All right, so maybe I dressed it up a little, but your client was guilty of sin, and you know it.
Hammer, if you had any decency, you'd take yourself off the premises. But if you won't leave, I will.
Now, take it easy, old man. Why, we're all here for fun, not for business. Besides, I thought you lawyers always confined your disagreements to the courtroom.
Oh, yeah. You don't surely think that... Why, Hammer is nothing but a grubby little private detective.
Come on, Arnold, come on. Let's go upstairs and cool off.
Look, Mrs. Cordey, I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Well, sir, that really tore it. So you're a private eye.
Apparently that's lower than a beachcomber.
Around here, old boy, is rock bottom low.
Yeah, well, in case anybody's interested, I'm on vacation.
Sure you are.
Hey, now, just a minute. When somebody throws rocks at me, I like to know the reason why.
Oh, look, Hammer, everybody knows that Miriam's having an affair with somebody.
Oh? Oh, everybody knows but her husband, huh?
Well, the private detective on the scene was apt to suspect that even Cordey has found out.
Yeah, well, not from me, Buster.
Nobody else would tell him. We all took a vow of silence. Primarily because everybody likes both of them.
Yeah, and their parties, huh?
That's right, and you're going to ruin it all.
How am I going to...
Oh, look, Hammer, it doesn't mean that much to me either way. She knew the trouble that she'd get into if she went into it, and you just got a job to do.
I got no...
But it looks messy to me, and I'm going to be on the other side of the lake.
I looked it up in the classified.
Yeah, well, look again, honey, because I don't take divorce cases, and I don't like dames who play it cute.
Dames! We haven't discussed your fee yet.
Oh, I suppose that's the answer to everything, huh? You just toss your checkbook at my head.
Well, it happens to be a blank check. All you have to do is find out who Miriam is playing games with, and you can fill it in yourself.
Oh? Tell me, how much is the old man worth?
Let's say he could lay his hands on a big chunk.
No, let's say you could lay your hands on it. You'd get rid of Miriam, huh? Oh, honey, you'd try anything, wouldn't you? I think I'll see what Miriam has to offer. Trouble has a smell all its own. And even French perfume at $100 an ounce didn't hide it. For a man on vacation, there wasn't a single reason why I should stay there, except morbid curiosity. And maybe a little urge to give J. Arnold Sterling a bad time.
Hey, this is a bribe.
Yeah, what for?
Information. Miriam and Fraser have been in the study for over an hour. What goes here?
Go get your binoculars.
They pulled down the shades, too.
Well, in that case, honey, I think you blew the ball game.
Oh, look, Mike, I'm not out to knife Miriam. I just don't want Fraser to get it.
Sure.
I'd like a word with you, counselor. In my study, if you don't mind.
Whatever you like, Fraser.
Mike, I don't know how much you've guessed or what you were told, but everything's all squared away now.
Good. You've got an understanding husband.
Well, there wasn't nearly as much to understand as some people would like to believe.
Oh?
Your being here helped to clear the air.
Just a little walk, that's all. Don't ever tell me things like that again. I'll never trust you.
Yeah, I can see that.
And if you so much as ever call my wife, I'll ruin you. I'll tell the whole world.
You're doing that right now. They can hear you across the lake.
He promised. He swore he wouldn't make a scene.
Well. You and J. Arnold Sterling. Why, the hypocritical old goat. I didn't think he was that human.
Oh, stop it, will you? You don't know anything about it.
I was going to get my car. I heard the noise.
Come off it.
You don't think I was out on the stairs. I ran back. Look here, Hammer, I don't have to take that from you.
Just take a word of advice, Consular. Get yourself a good lawyer, because you got a murder rap on your back. You can't do him any good, Mrs. Cordey.
Get a doctor. He's hurt. Can't you see that? Why don't somebody get a doctor?
Mrs. Cordey, it can't help.
No, I want a doctor.
I'm going to need one for her. Who's nearest? Chris, call him. Take it easy now. Come on.
Let me go.
No, you can't help it.
Let me go.
Chris. Oh, Chris, hurry, come over here. Something terrible's happened. It's Fraser. He's hurt. I think he's dying.
Irene, here, take care of it, will you? Get her over there. Come on now, Mr. Cordey. Hello, McCullough, this is Hammer.
What's wrong with Miriam? What's going on over there?
Cordey just had his head dished in.
Is he badly hurt?
Never mind about him, he's dead. Look, Miriam's thrown a wingding. You better get over here fast and give her something to calm her down.
I'm on my way. Be there in 5 minutes.
Good.
Oh, no.
Will somebody take care of her? Get that woman out of here, huh? Hello, operator. Give me the nearest state police barracks.
Is Fraser really dead?
You're about as dead as he can get.
How can a thing like this happen?
Well, you know what the situation is. Figure it out for yourself.
Sterling?
I said everybody was to wait downstairs.
I just got here.
From where?
Captain, this is Dr. McCullough. He lives across the lake. I phoned him to come over and take care of Mrs. Cordey.
Okay, she's in her room.
Thanks.
No. Well, if you come in to enjoy yourself, go right ahead. Gloat.
You know, I've never liked you very much, Counselor. But I always figured you had brains. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. How'd you ever get yourself in a mess like this?
How does anybody ever get involved with a woman?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I guess you're human after all.
I don't expect you to understand this, Hammer, but I was in love with Miriam. I'd have found a civilized way to resolve it, too. If you'd stayed out of it.
I was never in it. You just got jumpy when I came on the scene and ran to Cordey with your guilty conscience.
Oh, what are you talking about? I didn't tell him, and I didn't kill him.
But there was nobody else in there.
I tell you, I wasn't even in the study when it happened.
Oh, sure. I suppose some mysterious stranger came in the window, huh?
Oh, get out of here and leave me alone.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. There wasn't a weak spot in the case against Arnold Sterling. He'd been having an affair with the dead man's wife, motive. He'd been alone in the study with Cordey, opportunity. There were a dozen witnesses to the quarrel, and Sterling was found standing over the corpse. It couldn't have been tighter. Against that were a couple of points that would never get into court. Sterling was too rigid a human being to kill anybody in a moment of passion. If he'd planned murder, he was too intelligent to be so sloppy. He was a rich man himself. He wasn't after Cordey's money. If it was just Miriam he wanted, divorce would have been a lot easier. And that left the mysterious stranger. Even I couldn't buy that one.
Made a mess out of things, didn't I?
Well, that all depends. Who inherits?
I've never seen his will. Miriam will get most of it. I don't suppose I'll starve.
Oh, come on now, honey. You must have guessed about Miriam.
No, I didn't. It's incredible. Arnold Sterling, of all people.
Why incredible?
I don't know. It's hard to explain. You'd have to know Miriam, her background. Underneath, she's still got a lot of that coal mine town left in her. Oh, Mike, I don't want to sound like a snob. But Arnold and Fraser were aristocrats. And Miriam belonged in some end-of-the-pavement trucker's cafe. Does that sound terrible?
Well, don't worry about how it sounds, honey.
Well, she married Fraser for all the advantages his money could give her. Oh, it was a fair bargain. Because Fraser, in return, wanted a young and beautiful wife for a showpiece.
Yeah, well, how does Sterling fit into all of this, huh?
That's the point. To stay true to form, Miriam should have found herself somebody young and handsome. Somebody from the wrong side of the lake.
Yeah? Maybe you should have lent her your binoculars.
I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah? Why? Aren't you going to answer the phone?
Somebody in the house will get it.
Oh. Wait a minute. You mean that's an extension from the phone in the house?
Yes.
Oh. Well.
And come on outside. I want to try something.
Yes?
Irene,
Yeah?
I wish I could remember the first words that Alexander Graham Bell spoke on the telephone.
I think he said, I want you, but I forgot who he said it to.
I think I can write in the name. I'm going to need some help. Irene, what's the name of the gate man?
Barney.
Yeah. Go get him for me, will you? And meet me downstairs as soon as you can.
But why?
Come on, no, why? Just do as I say. Now, scat.
Okay.
The old gate man, Barney, was plenty shook up over Cordey's murder. And when I told him what I wanted him to do, he got scared, real scared. But when he saw Irene, he felt better. He liked her, and he was willing to listen. I counted on the old gent's loyalty to Cordey, and I wasn't wrong. And as I unfolded my plan, he said he'd do anything. Anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've completed our investigation. On the evidence at hand, we're satisfied we know just about what occurred. Mr. Hammer here, you're all acquainted with him, feels he has additional evidence. He's going to explain it now.
Yeah, well, it's all pretty simple. See, all of us were down on the dock when the murder occurred. All of us, of course, with the exception of Mr. Sterling here, who was in this room arguing with Mr. Cordey.
I left before he was killed.
How would you like to defend a client on that statement, Counselor?
I don't need you to do it, Hammer.
Oh, yes, you do, because if I don't, you'll end up with a one-way ticket to Sing Sing.
Just the evidence, Hammer.
I'm getting to it. The snack's up like this. Apparently, Mr. Cordey threw an ashtray at Mr. Sterling. It missed him and crashed through the window. Mr. Sterling then picked up another ashtray and clonked our late host.
I wasn't here when it happened.
Yeah, well, if that is true, then there must have had to have been somebody else in the room, huh? Somebody hiding here in this room, possibly here in the closet. Now, after Mr. Sterling left the room, this person stepped out and killed Mr. Cordey. He then threw the ashtray through the window to attract our attention before Mr. Sterling could get out of the house.
Everybody was out on deck.
That's right. Everybody but the mysterious stranger.
Who then disappeared into thin air. Hammer, let's cut out...
Except that we have a witness who saw him. Ladies and gentlemen, Barney, the gate man. Barney, you just tell him everything you saw, huh?
Well, you see, I was finished up at the gate, and I went up to ask Mr. Cordey for my wages. It was the end of the week, you know.
Yes, we know.
Well, with everybody down on deck, I thought that's where I'd find Mr. Cordey. And so just as I was going around the house, I heard a window crash. Everybody on the deck started hightailing it for the house. Well, that was no time for me to be asking for my wages.
That's right, Barney. What happened then?
Well, just as I told you. I went into the bushes to wait. And that's when I seen him. Climbing down the trellis outside of that window.
What did he do then?
Oh, he ducked into the bushes, too. You know, for a minute, I thought he was going to bump right into me. He was so interested in all the people, he didn't see me standing there.
Did you see where he went after that?
Yep. He took off from there as soon as the coast was clear. And he went into one of those cabanas.
Why didn't you say something about this before?
Because nobody asked me, that's why. Until Mr. Hammer come along.
Oh, all right, forget it. Do you think you could recognize this man you saw climb down the trellis?
There's no reason why I can't. He's standing right there.
I'm afraid you made a mistake, Barney. I was on the other side of the lake. Hammer can verify that. I talked to him on the phone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Except there's a phone in the cabana. You want me to tell you how it was done? With Miriam here screaming for a doctor, Irene dialed a legit call to your house across the lake. But then Miriam faked hysterics to get to the phone. She depressed the button to connect her with the cabana, where you were waiting to receive the call. So when I picked up the phone in this room, I had every reason to believe that I was talking to Dr. Chris McCullough in his house across the lake.
If you want him, you go get him. I ain't pulling anybody else out of the lake. All right, let's get him up.
Hammer. Hammer. I won't pretend that I enjoy having to say thanks, but thanks.
Well, don't let it throw you, Counselor.
Yes, I'm sure you did it only to embarrass me anyway.
That's better.
Hammer. Hammer, do you think... Well, I suppose Miriam was in love with this fella, McCullough.
That's right, before, during, and after your great romance. You're just not her type, Counselor, but you made a good front for the real thing in case Cordey did hire a private detective.
Well, if you didn't tell him, who did?
Miriam, of course. She had to set up a fight between you and Cordey in order to set up a patsy for murder.
Yes, and it would have succeeded except for that gateman. Barney?
Counselor, that gateman didn't see a thing. He was sound asleep when it happened.
You mean you faked?
Faked the evidence? That's right. That's why you're walking around a free man.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, don't say anything. Just remember, the next time that you start fretting about that client of yours that I sent to prison on faked evidence, just remember this. I'm no judge and I'm no jury. I got just one job, and that's to see that the guilty guy goes to jail. See you in court, Counselor.